challenge. In this video, we're going to talk about adding the attendance piece to your AsULearn course. And attendance is a great way to track when students have been in class or their status in the class, and in a way that the students can see back and see when they were present late, or whatever status they had for that class. To start with, we're going to turn the edit mode on, and we're going to add an activity or resource, and we're going to add attendance. It pre-fills the name of it as attendance, but you could call it something else if you want. You could also, in the description, talk about your attendance policy. Down under grade, it defaults to a point value with 100 points, and what it would do here is scale the 100 points based on the number of attendance this is taken and the number of times you were absent, or that type of thing. But what it can't do is, if you have a policy in your syllabus say that you get 2 absences before points start getting taken off, it can't adjust for that. So what we recommend is setting the grade to none, so it doesn't put a place in your grade book, but it does track the attendance to this semester. It gives the students a percentage of times they were absent and that type of thing. And then at the end, if you want it in your grade book, you can add a manual grade item, and then you can look at the attendance record and base a grade off that. That gives you a lot more control than the automatic piece as well. Additionally here, if you're using groups, this is a group aware tool. So if you set groups, you can set attendance activities for each individual group. So if you have like a meta course that meets Monday, Wednesday, and one that meets Tuesday, Thursday, you can actually set up attendances for both of those, and they are separated by groups. So that's a good feature. We're going to go ahead and hit save and display. So we have here an attendance. One thing before we get started that we want to change is under more, there's a status set. And this is what you are going to pick from when you pick the attendance. And so right now this is set to present. And what they've done is they give you 2 points for being present and 1 point for being late, or 1 point for being excused. So you basically get half credit, but you can adjust this. So I can say, okay, if you're excused, if it's an excused absence, you still get the same 2 points. And you know what? I'm not going to track lates, so I could delete this one. So I'm going to update that first change. So if you're there or it's excused absence, you'd get 2 points. I'm going to take late out. And I could have some other status down here. I can add as many of these as I want. I could give partial credits for something. So you can adjust this the way you want it to. Additionally, one other thing that I want to mention while we're here is this warning sets is a new tool. I can set in this a set of criteria that if a student falls below that criteria, so if they fall under a percentage number of attendance pieces, and then I've got some settings here, it will auto email them kind of a warning saying, hey, I noticed you've been out, please see me, or something like that. So you can change what the email says in this area here, the subject of the email, and then of course the parameters that you can do that. So you can set multiple layers of this by adding multiple ones, and it does email the student kind of a warning of, hey, and notice you've missed 2 absences or 2 classes, that type of thing. So some really cool pieces with this. So we're going to go back to attendance. I'm not going to set that. And so this is where we would take attendance. So we've got to start out by adding sessions. So let's add a single session. And if I had groups, I could pick it for different groups, but I'm going to set the date. So let's say the 15th of August. I'm going to set the time. We're going to meet from 10 o'clock to 11:50. So there's that. And I'm going to include, almost always we're going to include those sessions in the calculated absentee report. I have seen some people use this for like study sessions or something to see if people were there, but not include it. So you might have a Zoom session that you count attendance, but it doesn't count against your record. So we're just going to add that. And here we can see this first attendance piece that we can use. More likely, you're going to want to make attendance sessions for a large group of sessions. So that's multiple sessions at one time. Doing this one at a time could be kind of time consuming. So we're going to go add again, and we're going to say classes start on the 15th, and we're again going to meet from 10 to 11:50. And this time we're going to check multiple sessions. And we're going to use repeat sessions above, so that gives us our start date and the time for the class. And I'm going to pick what days of the week that I want the repeat on. So I'm going to say this is a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class. I'm going to repeat every week. If I repeat every 2 weeks, then it skips. It's doing it every 2 weeks. So you want to leave that at 1 week. And then we want to take that to our end date. So let's say if we're ending on December 10th, and we're going to hit add. And now look, we have a bunch of sessions we created. But let's say, well, we created that first one and oh, that was a Tuesday. That's not a date that we want to use. We simply delete that and it takes it out of the record. We can also come down here. We could find fall break. We're not actually meeting as a class during fall break, so we would just delete that. If we got Thanksgiving holiday in there or whatnot, we can just delete those dates that we're not going to use. So once we've created these, we're going to actually go in and take attendance. So to take attendance, we're going to pick the day that we want. We click the little arrow. Here's the students in the class, and here are the 3 status pieces that I put: present, excused, absence. And we're going to assume we can go through here and click individual students, what they are in the class. So if we come in here, we're going to assume that all of our students are here. So if we haven't checked any, we can go up here to the top and hit P, and it checks all of them as present. And then we could come down here and say, oh, but this student was absent, and we could go down and just pick the absent students or later on the excused. But if you click that top one first in any of these, it'll fill all of those out so you get all of those set, and then you can change the ones you want. We're going to save in next page. So this blue highlight indicates that I have taken roll for that session. Additionally, from the course, there is an attendance block. So with editing on, we're going to add a block. We're going to add the attendance block. And here it is. Now, for a faculty member, this doesn't give us much. We can go in and see our overall report. We can take attendance. We get the same thing that we basically if we go into this. Here I have logged in as a student, and for a student, the attendance block shows them their record. And this is the student that I marked absent, so it says 1 session has been graded, or 1 attendance has been taken, and I got 0 out of 2 points. And so it gives me all the data as I go through the semester. So the block for the students is a nice piece for them to see, but do be aware that it's fairly large, so I tend to put it down near the bottom so it doesn't get in the way.